I had a very powerful and awakening kind of realization recently. And something I've always struggled with is just thinking about the future. I think way too far ahead and I end up stressing myself out, causing a bunch of anxiety, doubt, worry. That's probably my number one thing that I struggle with is just doubt about what's happening in the future, about what I'm doing right now, if it's worth even the future, if it's worth even doing the things now because of what might happen later. A bunch of doubt, really. And something I've taken a lot of joy in, I found a lot of joy in recently, is just the idea of living in the now, living in the present. I mean, if you think about it, there's really nothing that matters if it's not the now, right? Anything besides the present is irrelevant, right? What's in the past is in the past. You know, you can't change it. It's already gone. It's not coming back ever again. It's gone forever. You know, regardless of what you've done, regardless of what already happened, it's not going to change. And the future, well, you don't know what's supposed to happen in the future. You don't know what's going to happen even tomorrow, necessarily. You might plan ahead for the future. You might, do things now that might eventually add up into what will happen in the future, but ultimately you don't know the outcome. You don't know what's going to happen. And so that puts you in this position now where all that really matters is right now. All that matters is the present. I think about this a lot. I've been thinking about it a lot recently just because it really, I feel like I've known that for a while, but I never truly understood what it meant. I really saw it for what it was. And now I'm starting to understand that everything depends on it. Every ounce of your emotions, everything that you feel, your joy, especially your contentness, it all comes from the now. It all comes from the present. I found it a lot easier for me to just enjoy my day-to-day life, just enjoy the things that I'm doing every single day, whether I think about them or not, just going about life with joy and contentness, because at the end of the day, that's all I have is to be present. When I'm not present, I'm in somewhere completely different, and I generally just don't even make the most of the situation I'm in. I can't. It's impossible for me to enjoy, hanging out with people or talking to people. Right? I might be talking to somebody, and my mind is just going somewhere completely different because I'm too focused on something else other than what's happening right now. And I've done this so much, and I always notice that when I can bring myself back to that place where I can just be present, fully present, and not worry about the future, not worry about what already happened, when I can just be fully present, it changes everything. And I'm so much more happier. I'm so much more present in my conversations with people. And I don't even know why, I look too far ahead in the future. It's like it really pulls you out of reality almost. Whenever you can just be content in the present, when you can be in the now, it brings you back to reality, and everything's a lot more beautiful. Everything's a lot more exciting. Like, truly, it really is more exciting. And whenever you can get back in touch with that version of yourself, it feels pretty damn good. It feels pretty good. And that's been something I've really been trying to work on recently. Coffee break. But it truly has changed a lot in my mindset, a lot in my decision making, a lot in my clarity, so many things. Because ultimately that's all that matters. All that really matters is what we can do right now, what we're in control of right now. I think the biggest thing for me, and probably a lot of people, especially whenever you're on like a deadline, you have things you need to do, you end up, especially in school, like I'm in school. So a lot of times it's homework or tests or just a bunch of stuff piling up, coming up. And so in your mind, you're thinking of all these things you have to do that's due, at whatever date in the future, that it completely takes away the focus on one singular thing. And when I can just, be present when I can be focused on that one thing, knowing that whatever's going to happen in the future, it's out of my control. But what I do have control of is what I get done right now. What can I do right now to focus on the things I need to do? And so for me, it's like I just sit down and just focus on one thing at a time. And slowly that stress goes away because you're quite literally working it out in real time. And it's starting to minimize the amount of work that you have to do in the future. And so it really does, it helps a lot in school, helps a lot in work, helps a lot in relationships. That's the biggest thing, is relationships. You know, I always like question, you know, like what am I doing in school? I sometimes question that, like, what am I doing here? Is all this even worth it? Is all this even worth it? Is going to class, like, am I gonna learn anything in class? And no, probably not, to be honest. But it's like, you know, instead of worrying about, okay, I could be doing something different, maybe I'm not doing enough, maybe I'm not doing what I need to be doing. Instead of worrying about all these things, just be in the now. Like when I go to class, it's like, all right, well, make the most out of the opportunities that I have, you know, with people. You know, it allows me to be so much more joyful to other people, as I'm able to give out that energy, that light that God has given me to other people. And it makes it so much more fulfilling, everything you do, when you can just focus on being present and being in the now. I think that's the biggest thing, is just regardless of what's to happen in the future. I think so many of us fixate on the idea that we need to have a set plan on our career, on our life, and on everything that should happen in our lives, that we want to happen. But life's not like that. Life doesn't work like that. I've never heard from a single person that that's how life works. So why do we fixate ourselves on this, you know, individualism that makes us so focused on, you know, what do I want? Me, and just having this plan. But it's not really realistic if you think about it. And if you think like that, it's so draining, man. It wears you out, because there's always a standard that you want to meet. And if you don't meet it, then it's like, oh, well, I'm not doing what I need to be doing. You start doubting yourself. You start doubting yourself, and that's the worst thing you can do, right? And then I think about, well, regardless of what is to happen in the future, nothing is going to happen if I don't do anything right now. Right? Nothing is going to change if I don't focus on what I'm doing right now. Right? I'm not going to wake up one day and just be a different person. I'm not going to wake up one day and have this opportunity. Right? It's day by day. You do things. You carry yourself. You present yourself in a way that sets you up for what is to come. And whenever you can focus on that, things just start flowing. Like, I've realized, like, life just starts to flow the way it feels like it's meant to flow. When you're not constantly up here in your head, when you're not constantly doubting or worrying about the future, whenever you could be content, when you can learn to be content and present, shit just starts flowing. And I think, like, when you get in that flow state, you start to just see things happen the way that it just feels natural, right? And these opportunities just kind of present themselves naturally. And, you know, it's kind of like a video game. Like, it literally feels like you're in a video game sometimes, right? Because you're more aware of just how you're acting. You're more aware of, like, what you're doing. And so you don't mindlessly really think about things like you used to. So it changes a lot. And it's awesome. It's a great thing to experience, an awesome thing to experience. So yeah, that's my piece of advice for you all today. Just stop worrying. You know, Master Oogway said it best. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Kung Fu Panda, man. Freaking OG.